Okay, when I have a complex zero, it always comes in a pair. So complex zeros always come in pairs. And these pairs are called complex conjugates. So if a complex number is of the form a plus bi, its conjugate is a minus bi. Now remember we had x squared plus 2 equals 0, okay? And I said that x equaled plus or minus 2i if I solved. That means my factors are x minus 2i and x plus 2i. And notice these are also complex conjugates, and the numbers are complex conjugates. Here they happen to be purely imaginary, so my a is 0. I would get a complex number if I use the quadratic formula to solve. So think about what happens here. Again, it's if I multiply a plus bi times a minus bi, I get a squared plus b squared I squared, because it's the form of the difference of two squares. Sorry, minus b squared I squared. A squared minus b squared I squared. But I squared is -1, so it's really a squared plus b squared. So I want to know the zeros of a polynomial. Remember we said we had at most, if a polynomial of degree n, could have at most n real zeros. Well, it turns out it has exactly n complex zeros. And complex numbers are written like a C with a bar, just like the real numbers are. So because all my zeros come as conjugates, I have to have an even number of complex zeros. Okay. So because every time I have a zero of a form a plus bi, I also have a zero of form a minus bi. They go together. And what we said before, don't forget that multiplicities count typically, but sometimes they do. Typically, complex conjugates don't come in multiplicity greater than 1, but they could. But we can have other ones that have a multiplicity greater than 1. But all those, with the multiplicities, it adds up to n. But what does this mean for this whole thing, the even number of complex zeros? What does it mean for an odd degree polynomial? Odd degree polynomials must have at least one real zero, or where b equals 0 for a conjugate, a complex number. Because if it's an odd degree and all complex zeros come in pairs and multiples of 2, then we know that if it's odd, that we have to have at least one.